case briefs, and so much more. LSData's got what you're looking for.
In 1968, the Supreme Court of California heard the case of Pacific Gas and Electric Company v. G.W. Thomas Drayage Rigging Co, which focused on the introduction of contextual evidence, known as parole evidence, as part of the interpretation process of contracts. This approach followed the contextualist view, which believes that all language can be ambiguous and thus context and parole evidence must be considered. The case stemmed from a contract between Plaintiff PG&E and Defendant G.W. Thomas Drayage Rigging Co for a turbine cover replacement job. The contract included an indemnity clause, requiring the defendant to compensate any third party for damages resulting from their actions. During the job, a cover fell and damaged the exposed rotor, leading the plaintiff to demand indemnification for the repair costs. The lower court ruled in favor of the plaintiff, interpreting the indemnity clause to cover their property damages. However, the defendant appealed the decision, arguing that the clause only applied to third parties. The court refused to consider any parole evidence that could challenge their interpretation, relying solely on the plain meaning of the contract language. Ultimately, the Supreme Court of California reversed the lower court's ruling, determining that the plaintiff was not entitled to enforce the indemnity clause against the defendant since they were not the intended beneficiaries. The court sought to ascertain the parties' intent through the interpretation of their words, and, in doing so, considered extrinsic evidence based on the reasonable susceptibility of the language used in the contract.
Case briefs, and so much more. LSData's got what you're looking for. Visit lsd.law, elevate your mind. Leave the stress of class.